Hello, everyone. Day three of going through the Bible. Um, Again, this is my way of holding myself accountable. I told myself this year I would start reading this Bible instead of watching videos, taking in other opinions and interpretations. I'm going straight to the source. Up to this point, I've read chapter one, two, and three of Genesis. Today, I'd like to get to chapter 6, so read chapter 4 and 5. Um, I'm familiar with the Cain and Abel story. I'll of course add in my own conjecture, opinions, thoughts on the topic at hand. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's not waste any more time. So, chapter 4 is called Cain and Abel. So, Adam made love to his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later, she gave birth to his brother Abel. Now, Abel kept flocks, and Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. But the Lord looked with favor on Abel in his offering, but on Cain in his offerings he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. So right here, there's already some resentment building. It went from A to Z real quick. God is favoring one, not the other. And I can tell you from my personal life, it always feels like that. People tell me about these amazing experiences they've had with God, and I've had one that I sort of kind of lean towards being an experience with God, but nothing that would make me go, "Oh my gosh, this is definitive. This is that way." So when I hear that, I do think, well, God shines favor on these people. Why aren't you talking to everybody like that then? But I don't want to linger on me too much. Let's continue. It says, "Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must rule over it.' Now Cain said to his brother Abel, 'Let's go out to a field.' While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Where is your brother Abel?' 'I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?' The Lord said, 'What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and are driven from the ground, uh, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth.' Cain said to the Lord, 'My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me.'" So I want to stop right there. That's kind of interesting. So Adam and Eve are the first man and woman, quote unquote. They have their two sons right here. No other children are mentioned, but listen to this one more time. "I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." So, who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? So, if you watch my previous videos, which no one has up to this point, but let's just say that in the future someone does, then you'll know that I'm more of an evolutionist. I don't believe that God just created man, created woman. I think that we came in an evolutionary state progressively over time. However, that would indicate that there were other versions of human. Now, I separate Adam and Eve from these types of humans because I do think there was a dramatic shift in the way humanity was moving. For example, I mentioned before, it's like we went from a state of unconsciousness to consciousness, and these might be the first conscious human beings, whereas the other human beings on the earth were more animalistic in their nature. But the Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put his mark on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain made love to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Cain was then building a city and named it after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Irid. I think that's how you pronounce that. Irad, Irid. And Irid was the father of Mehujael. I'm just going with what I think. And Mehujael was the father of Methuselah. And Methuselah was the father of Lamech. Lamech married two women, one named Ada and the other named Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal, and he was the father of those who lived in tents and raised livestock. His brother's name was Jubal, and his father of all who played stringed instruments. He was the father of all who played stringed instruments and pipes. Zillah had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, listen to me. Wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for injuring me. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. Adam made love to his wife again, and she gave birth to a son named Seth, saying, God has granted me another child in the place of Abel, since Cain killed him. Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. So, lots of names here. I'm sure I destroyed the pronunciation of them. But this portion seems to be more of a lineage, right? We're getting the lineage, but Adam had another child. So, again, there are other people in the world. This guy has 2 wives. Where did those wives come from? Again, Cain met a woman. Where did his wife come from? So these are valid questions. Anyone out there that says these aren't valid or they're not that important, these are actually very, very important questions. You can't be the first man and then yet have these other people walking the earth. So those 2 things are contradictions. They literally contradict one another. But let's go ahead and move into the next chapter, chapter 5. It says from Adam to Noah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this one has a lot of names. So, and dates, so you're going to have to forgive me. I almost want to skip this chapter, but it says, this is the written account of Adam's family line. When God created mankind, he created them in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them. He named them mankind when they were created. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had his son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. So they're essentially kind of wiping the slate clean. Cain and Abel are no longer the progenitors of Adam's line. It's Seth. So Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. So I don't know that I believe in any of that. That's crazy. 930 years of life. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in any of that. When Seth lived 105 years, he became a father of Enosh. After he became the father of Enosh, he lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth had lived a total of 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. After he became the father of Kenan, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enosh lived a total of 905 years. So that just continues on and on and on. So I'm just going to make this simple on myself. Kenan had Mahalalel. Again, I might be destroying that. And lived 910 years collectively. Mahalalel had Jared and lived 830 years collectively. Jared had Enoch, lived 962 years collectively. Enoch had Methuselah and lived 365 years. Now, this one kind of changes here. It says Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more because God took him away. So, I've actually heard of a story of the book of Enoch. I've not read it myself. I'm not even going to say that I'd have. But I know that's a thing, but I've heard it's not part of the Bible canon. Sounds like because man just decided that. Man was just like, we're not going to include that one because it doesn't fit our narrative. So that's my personal opinion on that one. Methuselah had lived 187 years. He had a son Lamech, total of 782 years. Lamech had his son named Noah, and Lamech lived a total of 770 years. And then after Noah was 500 years, he became the father of Shem, Ham, Japheth. Again, destroying the names. I apologize. So I think that's a great place to close for today. This one's a little shorter than the previous videos. I do have somewhere I have to be here soon, but I just want to take a moment to say that these two chapters weren't anything crazy. I wouldn't even be surprised if people thought that I should have read a little bit more at this point. But, duty calls. Duty calls. I'm going to continue on tomorrow. I'm 3 days in. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. Usually I give up after a couple days, or usually after the first day. So I'm feeling pretty good about doing this. Hopefully tomorrow I come back at you with, we just finished chapter 5. Maybe we can read chapter 6 and 7 tomorrow. Those seem to be a little bit longer though. Just depends on my time. So with that, I hope you all have a lovely day, a blessed day, and I'll be back tomorrow with another couple chapters of the book of Genesis.